If you are one of the lucky few that has an Xbox Series X, or if you plan on getting one, then these accessories are something you certainly ought to consider. Oh, and links to all products will be in the comments and the description. First up, we got the SteelSeries Arctis 7X. Now this headset is probably one of, if not the best headset you could get for the Xbox. At $150, it's definitely on the high end of the headset spectrum. It's made specifically for the Xbox, which means it'll work with all Xbox's unique features. But outside of that, it's just a really great headset. Extremely comfortable, fantastic sound quality from both the headset and the mic, and looks pretty nice too. It should be noted that while this headset does work with the PS5 and PC, it won't be as functional because it is tailored more towards Xbox. There are separate versions of this headset for both PlayStation and PC. But if you do have an Xbox, then this headset will be one of the best. Pro gamers, listen up. The Elite Series 2 controller for Xbox is a no-brainer if you're a competitive player. For games like Rainbow Six Siege or Warzone, this controller will be a genuine game changer. And I mean that. There's more to it than meets the eye, because it's actually completely customizable and interchangeable. It has loads of features, like adaptive triggers, height-adjustable thumbsticks, paddles on the back for extra controls, and swappable D-pads and thumbsticks. So not only can you adjust standard controller features like the thumbsticks to fit your hand as snugly as possible, but you can also take advantage of those extra buttons on the back of the controllers. You'll be able to do twice as many things as your in-game opponents in at one time. Honestly, if you're a competitive player, it's a seriously great option. It's a fairly obvious thing to have really, but even if you don't think a controller charging stand is useful, you have to at least admit it will make your setup look a whole lot tidier than just using a wire. This specific controller gear charger is one that has been officially licensed by Xbox, so it's the most official and most trusty charging stand you could buy. And it'll also blend really nicely with your Xbox Series X or S, because it comes in a wide range of colors. It does only charge one controller, which is fine for most people. But if you have more than one, then obviously this isn't for you. I should note that if you do buy this, then make sure you get the Series X version, not the Xbox One version, because that doesn't work with the Series X controller, though the Series X version does work with the Xbox One controller. Now this product is so cool. Frankly, if you really want an edge over your competitors in games, then there's genuinely no better way to do that than to get a gaming keyboard and mouse. It just so happens that this particular keyboard and mouse are designed for the Xbox Series X, so that you can do just that. Admittedly, it's very expensive, but it is Razer after all, so you know that it'll be fantastic quality. The only drawback of using the keyboard and mouse is that not all games will necessarily be compatible with it. But then again, a lot of the competitive multiplayer games, especially the FPS ones, will be. To list a few games, Warzone, Fortnite, Minecraft, and more will undoubtedly come. Either way, if you have the bank for this keyboard and mouse, and you're a competitive player, then it's definitely a smart move. Just make sure your favourite games are compatible first. The Xbox Adaptive Controller is such a cool product, and I'm honestly yet to see Sony do this. Things like this is what makes Xbox such a friendly console to use, because this adaptive controller was made with the intention of allowing less abled people with limited mobility to play Xbox games with ease, since normal controllers can get extremely fiddly. It also has a ton of ports to which allow connecting it up to secondary devices much easier, so that using it can be as hassle-free as possible. The Series X is already packing serious storage space, so it's fair to say you probably won't need to buy an extra SSD for a while, but you probably will eventually. Games are only getting bigger and bigger as time goes on, which means they will inevitably require more storage. I mean, Warzone and GTA 5 would take up half of the storage alone, so it's important you invest in expansion. Obviously, for $220, it comes at a substantial cost. But the added benefit is that you'll be able to store double the games, and not only that, but your Xbox won't get slowed down by having too little SSD space left. Oh, and unlike most expandable storage devices, this is not a hard drive. It's actually an official Xbox licensed Seagate SSD, which is why it's so expensive. The best headset for the Xbox Series X is still the SteelSeries Arctis 7X in my opinion. However, if you prefer a more Razer kind of headset, then the Cairo Pro should be your first choice. The Cairo was made to accommodate Xbox Series X and S, so the functionality is really nice. With just the touch of a button, you can pair the headset to any Xbox controller via Bluetooth and play for long hours without feeling any discomfort. Not only that, but the sound quality is great too, so you can rest assured that you'll enjoy hearing every in-game detail. The Cairo Pro is a wireless headset, so it will connect to any other Bluetooth device as well as your Xbox. So if you want to listen to music while you play, then you can. You can also get the standard Cairo headset, which isn't Bluetooth, if you want to shed some dollars off the price. Everyone should have a pair of performance Thumbsticks by Control Freak. If you don't want to spend $200 on an Elite controller, then you can consider spending $15 on some minor modifications. These thumbstick add-ons essentially just make your existing controller thumbsticks taller and a lot more grippier, which gives you more fine control over how your character moves in-game. For FPS games, it can make a pretty big difference. And in any case, it'll stop your thumb from slipping off the controller, which is a good enough reason to buy it in of itself. They also come in different sizes for different styles of games, depending on your preference, as well as coming in hundreds of different designs and colors, so they can blend with your controller nicely. Another Pro controller, yet this time, it's not made by Xbox at all, but rather Razer. I will say right out of the gates that this is a fully wired controller which has its pros and cons, but the reason behind the wire is because it's meant for tournament play, so having a wire just reduces latency, which is a slight advantage. If you're someone who likes to play away from your screen, laying on your couch, then this controller is a bad choice. But if you're a super competitive player and you play up close to your monitor, then it's a great choice. Like the Elite controller, it has extra paddles on the back and the top of the controller to give it the edge over other players. And it also has adjustable and interchangeable parts. It also eliminates that annoying slippy controller issue, because the back of the controller is layered in a grippy rubber material. For pro players, it should be a go-to accessory. This one is for the on-the-go gamers. If you ever look to go traveling with your Xbox Series X, then you'll want to ensure that it is wrapped in a strong layer of materials. The Casematics hard shell case will not only protect the Xbox, but look cool doing it too. Its hard case is crush-proof, mostly, with green, bumpy foam cutouts to fit a variety of different Xbox accessories, from headset to controller to gaming keyboard. It's waterproof, and just in case you want to be really protective, then it even features space to padlock the box up for if you decide to travel with it. And besides, the attractive interior and exterior matches the Xbox Series X so nicely that you're going to want to buy it just for the aesthetic alone. Anyway, what did you think? Let me know in the comments down below, and please remember to press subscribe and knock that like button into oblivion.